Stocks are trading soft after the US-China trade tensions erupt over the latter's rare earth curbs. Although Donald Trump tries to temper the concerns, consumer durables, FMCG and IT are the big losers, even as financials manage some green. The stock of DMart owner Avenue Supermarts slips after its like-for-like growth tempers and margins crimp amidst rising competition. DMart Ready also consolidates, pulling back operations to 19 cities from 24 in the first quarter. Despite the strong investor interest in the IPO, Tata Capital sees a muted listing, with the stock opening at 330 rupees compared to the offer price of 326, implying a listing gain of a little over 1%. Silver scores a new high on the back of strong physical demand across several countries, including India, where the precious metal trades at a premium. In London, too, short covering drives prices higher amidst tight supply. Gold is shining like gold. Silver is shining like gold as well. It's a rally of the precious metals. Good afternoon. You're watching Business Lunch. We are coming to you live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I am Hormus Fatakia. Markets are taking a bit of a breather after two very good weeks that the indices had, and that propelled the Nifty past the mark of 25,000 as well. So some bit of consolidation coming in, and since opening, the index has traded in this very narrow band of an 80-point fall to 100 to 120 point fall. It has not gone beyond those levels, still managing to consolidate around or below that 25,200 mark, finding support at that 25,150 level on the downside. The Nifty Bank, though, has been the one that has ensured that the Nifty does not break below that range. Had a dip at the start, but since then it has recovered almost or well over 200 points from the lows of the day, and it's holding about the flat line, still holding on to levels of 56,500, which is another positive. So it will be interesting to see where the Nifty Bank goes in the second half of the trading session, and it will be that will determine where the Nifty moves towards the close of today's trading session. The broader markets, they were fairly in similar lines along with the benchmark indices at the start of the trading session. Same trajectory for the mid-cap index as well, 0.3% lower. The small-cap index also down 0.5%. The activity lies in specific stocks. Before we get to that, just pull up Tata Capital, the listing of the day, India's biggest IPO of 2025 so far. And after a subdued response to the IPO, it's currently trading around about the listing price itself, listed at 330, still at 331, 1.5% higher on Tata Capital. But a stock that was in focus earlier in the day, reported results over the weekend, is Avenue Supermarts, the parent company of DMart, after its results. And now the stock is down to the lowest point of the day. Mangalam is here to tell us more on that. Mangalam.
Well, the street did not like the EBITDA performance of DMart because the revenue was largely in line with the subdued second quarter update that the company had given already. 15.5% on a consolidated basis. The company's same-store sales growth are a rough around 1% mark in terms of expectations. It was below par, but the stock price had adjusted for that. So now there are only two things we had to look at: EBITDA margins as well as the net profit. Net profit too grew at just about 2.3% for DMart, and this was largely on account of higher depreciation and higher finance costs, where the company, has been expanding their store network. Employee costs also were higher this time around, as they've increased the number of stores and increased the number of employees per store to improve service levels as well. So the street is divided on DMart's numbers this time around. Even as the stock is at the low point of trade, some believe that the company is in a transition phase as it battles competition from quick commerce, expands its own network, and battles high valuations as well, while some say that competition and the high valuations stand as headwinds in front of DMart. Today and the day the second quarter update came, the stock saw a bit of a decline, and that's largely on account of the reported performance as against what the street's expectations for the next couple of quarters are for DMart.
At the lowest point of the day now is DMart, 2.5% lower. Mangalam, thank you for that update. Now, BLS International fell and then recovered slightly from the lows after the Ministry of External Affairs debarred the company from participating in any future tenders for the next 2 years. The management told CNBC-TV18 that they are confident of resolving the issue soon, and there will be no notable impact on the business. Now, moving on to the big listing of the day, of course, as I mentioned, Tata Capital, it was a flat listing. Let's also listen in to what the management of BLS International had to say.
There were some complaints in some other countries for procedural issues, etc. But we are working actively with the authorities to resolve this issue. I don't see any impact on our revenue, etc. We continue to maintain the growth momentum. Whatever discussions we had in the last few quarters, we continue to actively remain focused on that.
And now moving on to the listing of the day, Tata Capital. It was a flat listing at 330 rupees a share. The stock continues to trade around those levels itself. And post the listing, the management did speak to the media. CNBC TV18 asked them about the company's growth plans. Listen into what the management had to say.
If you look at our portfolio, we are present in all segments. We have multiple engines for growth, whether it is the consumer business, whether it's housing, whether it's SME or it is corporate. So we have believed in a strategy of using multiple engines for growth, and we will continue to do so in the future too. It gives us a big advantage. Even if one segment is not doing well, we have an ability to go conservative in that area and accelerate the other areas so that our overall growth rate does not get impacted. That we do believe helps us in creating a model which is resilient both on growth and quality. We do believe that we know our business well, which we have demonstrated by ensuring a strong growth rate as well as a strong portfolio quality. And that is the reason 99% of our book is organic in nature, and we would like to continue that strategy in the future. Fintechs are playing a big role in the Indian economy. We do partner them for better operating efficiency, but as far as origination is concerned, we want to remain largely organic in nature.
We'll take a short break here on Business Lunch, but before we do that, a quick programming note. If you're looking for the big bets and market themes for this festive season, CNBC TV18 Access gives you a direct access to Helios Capital's Samir Arora as he shares his winning market themes and actionable investment strategies. Ask your questions live on the 16th of October at 2 p.m. Become a member today on the CNBC TV18 app or log on to cnbctv18.com/access/plans. Welcome back. It is a historic day for West Asia as the US brokered ceasefire comes into effect with the release of all remaining Israeli hostages and about 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. Palestinian prisoners are being taken from a high-security prison in southern Israel towards the Gaza border. Now, on the other side of the border, a convoy of a Red Cross left with Israeli hostages towards the hostage release site. Now, armed Hamas members are preparing to welcome nearly 2,000 Gazans held in prison across Israel since the 7th of October 2023 attacks. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has just arrived in Israel ahead of the peace summit scheduled in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh later today, where 20 world leaders will decide the fate of Gaza. Relations between the United States and China continue to seesaw after announcing a 100% tariff on China on Friday. Donald Trump late on Sunday took to Truth Social and wrote, "Don't worry about China, it'll all be fine. Highly respected President Xi just had a bad moment. He doesn't want depression for his country, and neither do I. The US wants to help China and not hurt it," end of quote. In fact, while speaking to reporters on board the Air Force One, he reiterated that the US has a great relationship with China and expects the issues to be resolved. Listen in.
I think we're going to be fine with China. Look, I have a great relationship with President Xi. He's a very tough man. He's a very smart man. He's a great leader for their country. He's a great leader. And I have a great relationship with him. I think we'll get it set. I know what happened. I really understand what happened, and I'm not even saying he's wrong. But then we met him with something much tougher than what he did to us. Again, because of the tariffs, it's much tougher.
Meanwhile, China has retaliated, calling US President Trump's latest tariffs on Chinese goods hypocritical and defended its curbs on the exports of rare earth elements and equipment, but stopped short of imposing new levies on US products. We'll take a short break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, India's September CPI inflation data is due to be announced later this evening. A CNBC-TV18 poll sees the figure coming in at 1.5%, but core CPI is likely to stay above 4%. Lata is here with more on this. Lata.
Well, if it is 1.5, it's a very important number because remember the MPC's mandate is to keep inflation between 2 and 6%. So actually falling below your own mandated number. I'll just, for the details, give you the food and core number. Food is the big culprit, which is bringing down inflation. The pleasant culprit, if you please. Minus 1.2% is the average we got. There are some people who are expecting even minus 2%. This is the average of about 10 economists. That works with another minus 0.7 in the previous month and 9.2% year ago. Very high base, and that's why you're getting such low food inflation numbers. Core CPI at 4.23 is largely, again, because of the base effect. Year ago, it was 3.5%. That's why core still looks respectable and above 4. But what I want to point out is to get back to that 1.5% September inflation. Now, October inflation is expected to come below 1%. Our poll says 0.6 to 0.7%, as you can see. If this is the number coming, just imagine the mindset of the Reserve Bank and the MPC when it meets on December 6th for the policy. The two readings they will have, one will be 1.5 below 2% and the other will be 0.7 way below 2%. So if this is the kind of reading, chances of not getting a rate cut in December look very slim.
Lata, thank you for that update. Now, let us now bring you an update from the Supreme Court. It has once again deferred the hearing in the Vodafone Idea AGR dues case, this time to the 27th of October, which is after Diwali. Now, the Solicitor General of India has asked for more time on behalf of the Department of Telecom. The Supreme Court, while deferring the case, said that it wants the government to take a specific stand on this issue. Now, former Indian cricketer Sachin Tendulkar recently launched his sportswear and athleisure brand 10XU. The CNBC's Mangalam Malu caught up with the Master Blaster on his new venture. Take a look.
I remember my grandmother telling me that, your health is your real wealth. So you look after your health. And post-COVID, which kind of reiterated that, we met like-minded people. We found ourselves to be on the same page. We discussed today, why don't we introduce something like this? And that really accelerated the thought process. And then we started chasing our dream. Our dream was to launch something like this.
So if you were to wear this shoe through your career, would you have made 10, 20 more centuries?
There possibly would have been less run-outs.
From the time you started playing to the time you ended, there was a big change in the quality of the equipment and all of that and stuff. Were there ever times where you felt that this equipment could have been a lot better and that you've incorporated in the current one?
I remember playing a match in Kolkata. This was way back in, I think, 1998. And the month of, end of May, June.
Oh.
And I scored 100 there. Spent some time at the crease. It was a day-night match. My clothes were completely wet. Even the shoes were wet. So every time I was running, it was as if, I'm running in the rain. I could hear that splashing sound.
I can hear it as you describe it.
Yes. And the worrying part was my trousers were slipping down because it had so much weight that I tied them with a lace. But there was so much weight because the sweat was all being absorbed by clothing. And now the technology is different. It just throws off everything. So the material that you wear today is completely different. I mean, all those things are taken into factor, and then they made sure that the sweat is not absorbed by the fabric. It just throws off everything. So I clearly remember that.
What's the revenue run rate that you're targeting on this?
See, we believe that over the next 1 year, we actually want to be at somewhere closer to 50 to 60 crores annual run rate to start with. Over the period of next 3 years or so, we want to actually target somewhere closer to 400 crore run rate.
Sachin, you in the cricket world always say double it. Do you want to pressurize him by saying it double it? Because he's saying 50 to 60, come on, you can go for 100.
So we are one team, we are not pointing fingers. So
No.
work together as one team.
No, in the same team you say double it, right?
My motto in life is be happy, never be satisfied.
And I was 2 weeks ago speaking to Saurav Ganguly, who's obviously come up with an ethnic wear line, surprisingly. And I asked him, if you were from your line, sending pieces, I hope he sent you some pieces. What would you send to Saurav Ganguly from your range, 10X you?
A nice jogging shoe.
Because?
Well, that is for you to guess.
Sachin Tendulkar, candid as ever. You take a leave on this edition of Business Lunch. We leave you with the Nifty still around about 100 points lower. Mid-cap radar on the other side.